Hello. Everyone, everyone, everyone. Everyone is a bun. That doesn't make any sense. Nor does it have to. Because it's Birdreads, baby. We're back. We're back in Adam. We're coming at you fast and hard. Anyway, sorry I said that. I'm sorry for a lot of the things I do and say. Um, Welcome to the party, motherfuckers. This has such a different vibe than the rest of Homestuck, this panel. Um, Before we get started, um, before we get started, Beebabo, I want to give you a bird fact. Today's bird fact is that sometimes, if you have to make a decision, you should stop and slow down, tune into your body, let go of the pressure, visualize like a younger version of yourself. Go to that version of yourself, be like, what do you need? What do you want? And then visualize an older maybe version of yourself, maybe the part of yourself that is like um, feeling the pressure. Be like, what do you need? What do you want? What's going on? What are you scared of? And then take a step back from all that and just kind of synthesize like who can we take care of? Can we take care of that younger part? Um, because maybe that younger part has a deeper underlying need, and maybe if you aren't ruled by fear, if you aren't ruled by the fear of the older part, maybe you can move forward and you'll be okay. And once you've done that, congratulations, you've just done IFS, internal family systems. So that's my bird fact for today. Sometimes you should do that. Sometimes you should check in with your inner child and see what they need and use that to guide your decisions. All right, let's do Homestuck. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Jade, build. Oh yeah, previously Rose popped off. She made a bunch of cool shit and now she has magic. Magic is real and Rose has it. And all it takes is having a wizard statue. You take advantage of Dave's nap to make some architectural headway on his building. But she's building while she's asleep. Didn't he say to not do that? You are really proud of your floor plan. It is so cool. Get Dave up to the first gate just right away, I guess. Oh, look, they all got wings now. Bunch of little guys. Speaking of naps, you have been asleep for some time yourself. So you suppose you'd better wake up soon. But then your neighbor in the other tower is supposed to be waking up soon too, and it sure would be a shame if you weren't around to greet him. Dave, wake up and jam. And by jam, you mean alchemize, of course. Whoa, your house is huge suddenly. Anyways, let's get this party started. So Dave picked up a bunch of cool shit from future Dave. Uh, and now he's just gonna make his own shit because we gotta have a cool montage of making shit. Dave, combine sunglasses and iPhone. The eye shades. Iconic. Now he has his phone on his face. I think everybody has that now, except for maybe Jade. You make a pair of eye shades. This one was really obvious, because future Dave had a pair, but he took them with him when he prototyped himself. But now you have a pair too, so that's cool. Dave, combine timetables and computer. Turn top. This is kind of an expensive one. You make the turn top. Convenient computing on the go, sort of like you have with your eye shades, but with all your important files and apps on there. Not to mention SBurb. Plus, maybe it has some weird time powers? You have no idea. You'll mess with it later. Why would the turn top have time powers if it's just Oh, because it was the timetables. The timetables is something that I guess Dave got from Future Dave, where it was something time powery combined with some kind of the record players, and then he combined that with the computer. Dave, combine Puppet Tux and Smuppet. Got the Puppet Tux, the Smuppet, red plush Puppet Tux. You upgrade the Puppet Tux Future Dave made. He probably made it by combining one of your bro's badass marionette suits with your shirt and scaling it up to fit. That's how you would have made it anyways. You add a Smuppet to the mix to make a softer, more stylish, red plush Puppet Tux. It is like walking around in snuggly pajamas. Action pajamas. I don't really like that it's a Smuppet, that you're like wearing a Smuppet, but you know what? It's alright. Dave, combine Broken, Call to Scratch, and Ruby Contraband. Ruby Contraband is a frog. You combine a couple more items you got from the future Dave's loot stash. The broken form of Call to Scratch and some Ruby Contraband, whatever the hell that is. It's a red frog. The resulting item costs a fortune. You have no idea what it is. And you don't have some of the grist that you need to make it. Dave, preview item with holopad. The broken scarlet ribbitar. You momentarily reconfigure your alchemizer upgrades to make use of the holopad extension. You pop the card in the slot and check it out. The combination would produce the broken scarlet ribbitar. That's fun. Dave, combine whole Call to Scratch and Ruby Contraband. The scarlet ribbitar. Out of curiosity, you try it again with the whole sword. You dial back Call to Scratch's little turntable, rewinding the sword to a point in its history before it was broken. You then combine it with the red frog thingy to show the complete scarlet ribbitar. But there's no way you can afford to make that yet. It costs even more now. Maybe you'll stick to combining items around your house for now, rather than the stuff from your future Sylladex. It'll probably be less confusing that way, and probably less expensive. Dave, combine Shitty Sword and Hella Jeff Drawing. Sword. S-O-R-D. You use one of your bro's really shitty swords from the fridge and print out of Hella Jeff to make a sword. This thing is so unspeakably shitty you are having a hard time even holding it. Come on. This is such a good visual gag. The sword. Dave, combine Snoop Dogg photo and mini AC and Call to Scratch. Snoop Dogg snow cone machete. You make the Snoop Dogg snow cone machete. When foes drop it like it's hot, just turn up the blazizzle nozzle so they chillax for rizzle. Chislax for rizzle. This feels inappropriate to Snoop Dogg. Or maybe it's honoring Snoop Dogg. I'm not really sure how he would feel about it. Is that? No, it's it's a snow cone. Why is it? Why are the peanuts? I guess it's Snoop, because Snoop Dogg. And then it says snow cone because it's a AC unit. Dave, combine skateboard and Hella Jeff Drawing. You make Unreal Air. So the fact that this brings so many implications into alchemy, right? Like, he's combining shit with something that he made, and then it's making the thing that he made into a materially real object. So, like, he's drawing based on this, like, shitty aesthetic and lore, and that shitty aesthetic and lore are, like, affecting the objects on, like, a material magical level, almost. Like, it's fundamentally interacting with the forces of reality, just like the wizard were, like, bringing magic into the needles that Rose made. But this is like turning the skateboard into like a shitty cartoon skateboard that just flies away. And there it goes. It is ridiculous what kind of air this thing is getting. Dude, come get the ruler. Check this out. Yeah, it's not coming back. Dave, make another one. You just make another one. You quickly stash it in a card so it can't escape from above. Dave, combine Game Bro magazine and timetables. Vintage Game Bro. Game Bro. Exclusive bro strategies. The hottest secrets. Shh. Challenge your thumbs to the maximum. Outrageous video stunts at your fingertips. Where are all the secrets? In here, bro. I love 80s. I love 80s Game Bro magazine. You turn back the clock and make a vintage Game Bro. You think you remember this one from your bro's stash. It's a classic. Dave, combine Batarang and Midnight Crew poster. Sudarangs. You make a whole pile of Sudarangs because they are really cool and pretty cheap. It's a bunch of throwing stars that are all based on cards. That's kind of cool, I guess. Combine plush puppet tux and Midnight Crew poster. You make a 4 aces suited. This is a sick suit. You aren't really sure which one you like better. The red one is softer, while the black one is sort of stiff and starchy. Anyone wearing this suit is all business. Maybe you'll switch it up as your mood dictates. I love how they all get other cool outfits. This kind of thing. This is the kind of stuff that I'm like, if you were in Homestuck, what would you want to like make out of, like what kind of clothes would you make with out of the other things of your interests? Dave, combine plush puppet tux and felt poster. This would make the felt duds if you had some of whatever that green grist is. Oh, that's interesting. You know what's interesting about him having the Midnight Crew and the felt posters is that those are real people in another place and time, and also it's a comic that he reads. This is actually something that I just recognized. Like, I never really clocked the fact that he has access to those comics and so therefore in a way knows about something that does already actually exist in a different place and time. I never really registered that. Dave, combine Smuppet and felt poster. Jutting out and impudent felt plush. You make a jutting out and impudent felt plush. You do an acrobatic fucking pirouette off the handle and into his heart, and he into yours. Dave is only seeing butts. Dave, combine dead things in amber and Smuppet. You make a foam mutant Smuppet encased in amber. Now we're getting somewhere. Quite the opposite. Dave, combine dead things in amber and Smuppet, but in a different way. For the sake of science, you of course do the opposite kind of combination. You make an amber mutant Smuppet abomination. So cool. Now this is how you make shit work. Egbert and Lalonde should be taking notes. Dave, combine fetus in a jar and Mr. T puppet. When did he get a fucking fetus in a jar? Holy shit. I guess I never noticed that was something that was in his room. You make the foam fetal Mr. T in a jar. Another back-breaking victory for science. Oh, Dave. I love how Dave starts with all, like, the shit that makes sense and then just makes a bunch of stupid shit, like, ironically. He's so fucking cool. Look at him leaning. You're looking pretty chill with your new freak show entourage. The underlings all look kind of put off by it, though. You're kind of weirding them out. They, like, don't want to attack him because they're, like, all grossed out. Dave, combine camera and capture log card. Capturoid camera. Oh, that's interesting. You make a Capturoid camera. You can use it to snap a ghost image of any object without capture logging it. Spits it out on a brand new capture log card every time. Could be a useful way to take a large inventory of anything you encounter without cluttering up your Sylladex. Also for grabbing codes for stuff you can't ordinarily pick up. So he has a way of getting ghost images now to get the code, just like Jade did with her version of the Sylladex. Dave, take photo of self. You take one of your patented, ironic, cool guy self-portraits. Man, so cool. That's really all there is to say on the matter. I love how Dave is fucking quoting himself in his own... I guess Dave isn't quoting... The narrator is quoting Dave here, I guess. Dave, combine fetus in a jar and self-portrait photo. Dave's brain in a jar. That would apparently make Dave's brain in a jar. Gross. It costs a king's ransom, though, because, of course, the organ is virtually inimitable. I actually don't know what that word means. Whoops. Doesn't stop you from capturoiding its hologram, though. Dave, capturoid the hologram of your own brain. Okay, that's probably the weirdest thing you've ever done, but okay. This Oh man, this feels so emblematic of Dave's future arc in a way that I can't really explain without spoiling, but like this feels thematic to Dave's character and in a weird way feels like foreshadowing of just like the levels of meta that is coming our way. Dave, combine brain and Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff drawing and Capturoid camera. As Sweet Bro and Hella Jiffer. Jiffier. Wait, the brain? Oh, it's so shitty. So he combines his own brain with Sweet Brown Hell Jeff with the camera to make this abomination. You make the Sweet Brown Hella Jiffier. Finally, something useful. It costs you negative 1,000 units of artifact grist. So I guess you get grist for it. Dave, try it out. Snap. Brrr. Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff. Bro, where'd you go? I was going to show you my chops. Aha, dude, are those wings? Time to fly up away to the sun, you fucking piece of garbage. Okay. The only thing that's left to really do is watch that ass whale fall. It looks like it automatically prints out a Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff comic in some way related to whatever you take a picture of. This should save you a lot of time, specifically the 5 minutes it takes you to draw a comic. You're a busy guy. I love the idea that this was Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff and Dave's brain combined. So it is literally just printing out what is going on in Dave's brain. Basically. Or at least whenever he's thinking about Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff. I love it when they go through these sequences and then they show all the shit at once. It's very satisfying to me. Dave, make copies of Rose's journal. Can't forget the most important thing you came up here to make. Gotta be getting your snoop on. Dave, you dog. Betraying your friends like that. Dave, take a look. Meow. Complacency of the learned. One book is titled Meow, the other is titled Complacency of the Learned. Gee, you wonder what could be in Meow. Read it. Meow 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 meow. So something interesting to note here, it's not just meow repeated over and over. It's just the 4 letters of meow repeated in different sequences. And that matters. To no surprise at all, this book is full of more meow letters. Looks like Rose is totally nuts. What else is new? You guess you'll try out the other book. Looks like it's some sort of creative writing project. Dave, read Complacency of the Learned. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I gotta get my Rose voice. Friglish bothered his beard, as if unkinking a hitch in a long silk windsock. A more pedestrian audience would parse the exhibit as nervous compulsion. Behavior to petition contempt among the reasonable. He was, however, not surrounded by the reasonable, but the wise, a distinction in men that would forever be the difference in history's garland of treasured follies. As a matter of fact, his cadre of fellow wizards were all putting similar moves on their beards as well. The practice would evince thoughtfulness, sagacity even, if they didn't do it all the time. Standing in line at the bank, shooing squirrels from bird feeders. Few occasions were safe. Zazarpan inspected the clue. A single piece of evidence cradled in his coriaceous old man palms. It was a human bone, not striking in the tale it told alone so much as that told by the thousands like it, festooning the marshy soil of the mass grave. The grisly expanse bore the texture of a decadent dessert, like one of Smarny's formidable custard trifles wobbled out on wheels for the holidays, to the dismay of a small nation. "You're certain of this?" asked Frigglish. Despite what he was doing with his beard, he was, in fact, immersed in meaningful contemplation. "I'm afraid I'm becoming more so with each terrible tick groused by that gaudy timepiece slung around your neck." In case it wasn't clear, Frigglish wore a clock Zazerpan didn't care for. It was magic. "The massacre of Sirs Gnelf was not as written." "What has you convinced it was—" Oh, this is a new wizard. "What has you convinced it was the hand of our disciples in this blackness?" Executus chimed in. I believe I... Wait, no, hold on. "I believe I—" a fat face stammered, eyes darting with the guilt of a thief in the throes of an unraveling alibi. "I could submit a more pressing line of inquiry." No, Smarty. Nobody was in the mood for a sticky buntaloaf just now. Zazerpan's ears fell insubstantial to any line of inquiry, pastry-oriented or otherwise. His abstruse contour carved a pondering shape in the fog carpeting centuries dead. His 11 contemporaries, too, embraced the muted consternation of their great predicant scholar. Few wizards kept sharper adumbratives or read them with such lucidity. When Zazerpan treated men with silence, it was seldom unrepaid by the wise and reasonable alike. It was harrowing to entertain. Zazerpan, the learned, storied complacency of wizards, was marked for grander descendants. Disciples hand-picked, vetted by Okite the Bonafide, and tested by Gastral the Munificent. The 12 sweetest, most studious children a pair of elderly eyes could give their sparkle, not the ragged gutter-snipe so oft harvested by the common obscenity, those vituperative... Man, Rose, the syllabus is going... the thesaurus is going crazy. I just confused syllabus and thesaurus. Clearly, my thesaurus is not working. Vituperative little beggars with hearts to corrupt as dropped bananas brown. That these chosen youngsters would turn was not merely unthinkable, but something of a roundhouse to the temporal bones of the upper indifference's high chamber of soft-skulled prophets. It's interesting that there's 12 of the children because, spoiler alert, there's 12 trolls. Actually, I think we already know that. So I wonder if that's intentional. Something of a roundhouse to the temporal bones of the upper indifference's high chamber of soft-skulled prophets. His wisdom-savaged brow pruned further with recounts of his many lessons to would-be successors, lessons to advance humanity's elucidation and prosperity, an outcome this bleak trail now painfully obviated. There were few puzzles the learned could not suspend and dissect in the recondite manifold beneath his extremely expensive pointy hat, daring to pitch his cherished pupils in with the foul melange of history's rogues. The heretofore abstract scourge that built up civilization with ungodly magic and tore them down with joyful malice would prove an intellectual trespass to make his calcium deficient bones quake. And more daring yet was the only question that now mattered. Could a bunch of bearded, scraggly old men in preposterous outfits hunt them down? He didn't have an answer. Only a simple observation so blunt and uncharacteristically jejune for the lauded sage it was breathtaking in its self-evidency. We're going to need more wands. Wow, think of something better. This is fire. This is gas. This is awesome. I would read all of this. Fucking Frigglish. Woo! This wizard story seems really involved and kind of confusing. You'll have to save your place and dig into it later, and then maybe ask Rose what the hell the deal with it is. Dave, go get a bookmark. You return to your room in search of a bookmark. Oh hey, finally a use for that pointless juice-stained beta that will never serve any purpose, past or future. Except for we already know it serves a point in the future because they get it in the future and then somehow no, Jade gets it from the time capsule in the present. So Jade actually already has it. And it's this copy that Dave has currently too. So there's some time travel shenanigans going on with that. You drop it on the John in case you're looking for some reading material later. Dave, check on Rose. Rose is doing some fucking real magic out here. Dave, pester. Whoa, why are you burning your wizard fanfiction? I'm not. This book contains a genetic code. Oh, okay. Then why are you burning that? The gods from the furthest ring asked me to. Is that some dumb wizard thing you just made up? Or something to do with tentacle monsters? I can't keep track of what you like anymore. How did you know I wrote a story about wizards anyway? John told me. He was all snooping around your room while you were asleep, and I was like, no, man, don't. So not cool. Then he was like, haha, dude, check it out. This book is full of wizard slash. And I was like, I don't even want to know. This is such a crazy violation of privacy. The story sounds suspicious. Do you want me to chew him out about it? I will, because that was so outrageous. I don't know where he got off being like that. Dave, don't fucking throw John under the bus like that. You just had a whole thing about how you guys were friends. Rose. No, I don't actually mind. Too bad I missed him. I thought you hated wizards. What's the deal with that? I like wizards. What I don't like is my mother's obsession with feigning interest in them to antagonize me. Oh man. That's so messed up that you think that. She probably digs wizards for real, just like you, and you're blowing shit out of proportion like pretty much always. You and she could probably have been chatting up about how awesome wizards were this whole time, but no. You're probably burning your nut job meow book to spite her too, aren't you? No, I told you. It's one of the gene sequences locked in my subconscious. The gods say it's critical to destroy it. Oh, yeah. I thought that was a joke. When did they say that? When I was asleep. You mean when we were dancing and stuff in our dreams? Yes. I flew to your tower and I heard them. They're far above, in the dark sky. I've never seen or heard these things in my dreams. Aren't you often distracted by music and puppets? Yeah? Have you ever looked into the sky without your shades? No, what a ridiculous question. Maybe you should try it sometime. You're the Prince of the Moon. I'm sure they've been meaning to seek a royal audience. ... What do all these dots mean? ... Don't know. Anyway, yeah, I guess I'll do that. I'll get some sky monsters to boss me around. Sounds cool. Interesting that she should call him the Prince of the Moon, because of a thing way later on that's going to be relevant with class specs. Woo! Dave Spray, also Pester. All right, Dave Spray is now also pestering Rose. So now I got to do my Dave Spray voice. So, really, what the fuck was that? That wasn't Dave Sprite. It's Dave Sprite, but like a bird. All right, so this is Dave, and so really, why are you burning that? I just explained this to other Dave. Do I have to explain everything to you twice now? No, I know. I'm using Dave's spare computer. I saw the whole conversation through his PesterChum account. Oh, I see. So instead of having to double explain, I merely have to put up with being double spied on. What a relief. I just mean, you didn't burn that book in the future. That book was completely pointless. I know. But now it's not. You appeared to make it relevant by traveling to the past. So does that mean the sleeping thing worked? You remember the future? I remember some things. So cool. So why is the cat code so terrible now? I don't know. but the gods were pretty emphatic about it. Well, okay, I guess it's done, but why are you so sure they're right? Have you ever known them to be wrong? I guess not, but they sort of freak me out. I mean, listening to gross space mutants all day isn't my idea of an awesome time, especially the ones that sing. Oh god. Is that why you always kept the music turned up? No, I flip out to ill jams because they kick ass, obviously. I guess we'll chalk another riddle up in the solved column. Yeah, case the fuck closed. Dave, are you talking to future me? Yes. Okay, I'm out of the loop again. Between you taking orders from Dream Beasts and birdwing me with, like, future secrets, I'm doing some sort of spectacular fucking jackknife off the loop and getting a wink and a nod from Barack Obama. I'm coming upstairs. Okay. Obama? Dave, referencing Barack Obama again. We should probably start a tally. Oh, hey, look, I know that face. If I can guess, if I can assume, that's fucking Diamond's Droog. Also, because Dave woke up his dream self now, we can see that he had been tormented by Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff. Which is not really a surprise to anybody, given that we can, he made Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff. No real surprise there. Look, Diamond's Droog is here. But it's not Diamond's Droog. It's this version of Diamond's Droog. I can't remember the name. DD. Dave, chill with Dave Sprite. Alright, fuck, another conversation between Dave and Dave Sprite. Dave, so it was pretty funny how I made a copy of Rose's Evil Book right before she burned it, and now she doesn't know about it. Dave Sprite. I know, it's crazy what kind of foresight this guy has. I'm telling you, coincidences like that are unreal. They don't even happen most of the time. The best thing about how I did that is how it in no way will ever come back to bite us in the ass ever. Dave Sprite. Dude, our shit is safe. Dave, so safe. Dave Sprite. Gonna sleep pretty sound tonight with that big fucking payload of safety you just got dropped on us. Gonna be hugging my pillow and shit, grinning like a goddamn bear full of honey. Dave. Safer than some Flintstones vitamins in a bottle. Keep twisting, Junior. All you get is clicks. Dave Sprite. Asshole thinks it's candy. Doesn't even know he just stepped on a security rake and got a face full of fucking safety. Dave. Yeah. Anyway, I guess I'll go back down and burn that book. Dave Sprite. Alright. I don't need to explain this joke. I love Dave. It's so fucking funny. He comes down, and of course, it's been robbed by Diamond's Droog. They're not safe at all. Dave, go back in time and stop the thief. It looks like you already tried that. Whoever took those books was a pretty cold-blooded dude. You figure you'll cool it on the time travel for a while. Don't want to see the Dave corpses start to pile up, especially if one of them winds up being you. This shit is so good. So Dave comes down and sees that his dead body is already here because of different, like, a past version of himself. A future version of himself already came back to this timeline to try to kill, or to try to stop Diamond's Droog, and then died, presumably. And so then this Dave doesn't time travel, which of course creates a paradox. Dave, throw yourself out the window. You ditch the body before Jade sees it. That would probably freak her out. Dave just fucking tosses his dead body and is just totally cool with it. Man, that's one cool customer. John, press a button on the control panel. Oh, right. Here we are with John, deep in the veil. You push one of the nearby buttons. He had found this panel machine. It activates the upper right monitor. The view is locked onto a particular location on Earth at a particular date and time. Whoever was in the lab appears to have recently calibrated this device. John, examine the monitor. The monitor displays a town on the west coast of the United States. It appears to be your old neighborhood. But there is a factory there that you do not recognize. The date is December 1st, 1995, a few months before you were born. John, Zoom in. It's the Betty Crocker factory. And look, an old woman is escorted by her son on a lovely day. A target has been locked over the gentleman's mother. It's John's dad! And Nana, presumably. A meteor overhead looms unnoticed. Crocker! They witness the destruction of the facility, collateral damage to a corporation owned by a renowned billionaire explorer. A mystery begins. Whoa, I just noticed this. I guess Betty Crocker in John's universe is owned by a renowned billionaire explorer, which is probably Jade's grandpa, if I had to guess. John, press blue button. Beep. You create a paradox ghost imprint of the woman you recognize to be your grandmother. It gets sucked up into a tube. The ghost sludge is sucked into a glass tube. John, switch to 4. You switched to a monitor displaying a view of a remote island in the Pacific on December 3rd, 1995. John, zoom in. Look, it's Jade's grandpa and baby Jade with the bunny that Rose gave to John, which is also, of course, the bunny that Dave gave to John. A renowned billionaire explorer approaches on his yacht. An old factory lost 2 days prior, but a new shipmate gained. Together, they settle the island and plunder its secrets. Oh, look, the boat is named Jade. And also, seemingly... Wait, December 1st, which is 2 days before this date, is Jade's birthday. So that meteor that just hit the factory was on the day of Jade's birthday, and in that instance an old factory was lost and a new shipmate was gained. So that's going to give some context over to what happens next. A meteor overhead streaks unnoticed, headed towards an unseasonably warm city in the central United States. Bunch of meteors flying around. John, press the blue button. Beep. Sucks up Jade's grandpa. You create a paradox ghost imprint of the man you spotted in the woods with your book. Who was Jade's grandpa? The ghost sludge is collected. John, switch 3. You switch to a view of an unseasonably warm city in the central United States on December 4th, 1995. Look at this dude. An outrageously awesome dude stands before a crater where his favorite record shop stood 1 day prior. He is prepared for the occasion with a small pair of outrageously awesome shades. A meteor overhead races unnoticed, headed to a lake near a laboratory on the east coast of the United States. No aquatic life would survive. That's interesting, right? Because that is Rose's whole quest. Okay, so John, press the blue button. Beep. You create a paradox ghost imprint of the outrageously awesome dude, Dave's bro. The sludge is allocated to one of another pair of tubes. John, switch 2. Last but not least, you switch again to the view of your neighborhood on April 13th, 1996. It is the day of your birth. There is more real estate you do not recognize near the recently devastated baked goods facility. It is a shopping mall that you have never seen before. John, zoom in. Prankster's Gambit. Look! It's Rose's mom. A professional lady and new mother has traveled from the opposite coast at the behest of a famous and wealthy scientist to study one of numerous recent celestial anomalies while he is on expedition. She notices a meteor overhead, on collision course with a quaint family joke shop. A distinguished gentleman notices the lady and comes outside to greet her, oblivious to the threat above. The gentleman's mother remains inside, busying herself with a tall bookshelf, a ladder, and a rather hefty unabridged joke book. So the professional lady, Rose's mom, who's a new mother because she just picked up Rose from the lake where Rose, well, I guess we don't know for sure. She just got Rose. She works for a famous and wealthy scientist to study numerous recent celestial anomalies while he is on expedition. Jade's grandpa is involved with doing the Esperb stuff that Rose's mom works for. An old mother lost today, but a new son gained. Sassacre! Sniff. The gentleman discovers a clue. A powerful nose detects perfume. The lady has fled. The mystery deepens. But the monitor has not lost track of the lady. John, press blue button. Oh, wait. And there's Rose with the bunny. The bunny that John has and had received from Dave. Dave got it, gave it to John. John, press the blue button. Okay, I'm going to have to map out all this timeline once we're finished with this whole sequence. You create a paradox ghost imprint of the professional lady. The sludge fills the final tube. Once all the tubes are filled, an automated sequence begins to execute. 4 young paradox clones are created. John, there's one more button to push. Ectobiology sure does involve a lot of button pushing. At least it does when you're a junior ectobiologist. Your loyal assistant, Dr. Meowgon, is all over this one. One pair of tubes empties the sludge into the chamber below. The other pair does as well. Another sequence is activated. Boop, 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 boop. And look at this. There's another 4 set of paradox clones. John, scale the echelon. Echelon. I'm just going to name these real quick. Stout Runt, Mr. Snoozy Prince McSleepy Pants, Calloused Tenderfoot, Overbite Upstart, Britches Ripper, Scampermaster, You Are the Star, It's You, Jungle Jim Swashbuckler, Unreal Air, but air spelled differently, Gritty, I don't want to say that word, Rascal Sprat, Rung Jumpin' Ragamuffin, Scurrywort, Sharkbait Sparkplug, and Ectobiology Babysitter. Look at John, he's got that ridiculous feather on his hat, in his cap, and there's a billion little babies crawling all over him. You storm up your echelon to claim the coveted, if difficult to pronounce rung, Ectobiology Babysitter. Your ladder is absolutely hemorrhaging the boon dollars. Just what your pork hollow's fat ass needs. I think it's funny that the echelon also references Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff. You surpassed 1 million boon dollars and trade them all in for a single whopping boon buck. This is, of course, going directly into the college fund for these youngsters. Sure is heavy. Into the hollow it goes. Oh no! The poor hollow. Smash! I wonder if these symbols mean anything on these 4 corners. Navigating the veil nearby. Hold on, I want to go back before we move on. Just to point out, in case you were wondering, they cloned these 4 babies, right? So this, and you can tell by the hairstyles. This is Rose's mom. This is Jade's grandpa. This is John's nana. This is Dave's bro. And then they combined that DNA and cloned 4 more kids out of those combined DNA. And as you can see, this is baby Jade, John, Rose, and Dave. Look at them. They're all so precious. I also think it's funny because you can see, like, the ways the faces are combined. Like, Rose, all four girls and all four guys all have the same fucking eyes. But then they have the teeth and the glasses pair, and then the non-teeth and non-glasses pair. You storm up your ladder to claim the coveted oh, yeah, we already talked about all this. Okay. Navigating the Vale nearby, an old man has much to do before he returns to Earth, dies, gets stuffed by his adopted yet biological daughter/granddaughter, and stuck in front of a fireplace. Taking priority at the moment is shipping 2 passengers long overdue for a reunion. So, Jade's grandpa was somehow alive enough to get into the session. We don't know how yet. But then he dies and goes back to get stuffed. And then put in the fireplace, which is where he is now, also with Jade. Oh, look, he's got a giant spaceship with his face on it. There they are. Rose's mom and John's dad. And he takes out of his wallet her scarf that she lost all the day, the fateful day when John was born. And she takes the scarf and she puts it on. And they hold hands. I love this art. This is a great art style for me. Wow. And they look at Skya deep away across the Vale. And they are reunited. Do we think John's dad and Rose's mom are going to get it on? Time will tell. CG, Troll John.
See, this is a case in point.
What point?
The point I was just making about the ultimate riddle, you blithering feculent shithole. Okay, that's your cue to laugh at me some more, I guess, because you seem to really get off whenever I flame you. Humans are deranged.
Oh man, I must be getting closer to the conversations where you're trolling me harder. This is pretty exciting. I can't wait to see what you've got up your sleeve.
You see what I mean? Fuck you about that.
Anyways, you weren't making a point about the ultimate riddle, dude.
Yes, I was, and now I'm losing my train of thought, dipshit.
Nope, we never talked about it. Yet.
Oh, hell, that's right. Damn it. I guess this is going to be confusing.
Oh, you're just starting to figure that out now?
See, I kind of painted myself into a corner. I started trolling you at the end, just before the rift, and then jumped back a little, and now I guess I've become railroaded into working backwards here. Unless I want to do the sort of dumb schizophrenic hopping around like the others.
Oh my god, I know. You've already told me like 1,000,000 times.
I have? Wow, I can't wait for all these amazing conversations to take place. It's going to be like that human vacation with the giant red chimney asshole up in here. You know, the one where a bunch of moany nooksuckers sing at a little pine tree, I think.
Man, I've got to say, I'm a little disappointed by this masterful trolling you were bragging about.
I was bragging? Why would I bother with that sort of pedantic human horseshit? Maybe you should consider that I was bragging to get your hopes up in the future. Only to let you down, and thus troll you masterfully in that respect.
Maybe, but that would be pretty weak too.
Your brittle, human, calcium-based skull is what is weak, and if you and I were in proximity of a blunt instrument, I wouldn't have much trouble proving it.
Whatever. So, what was the case in point you were making anyway?
I was scrolling back and noticed you were in the Vale.
Whoa, I am?
Yeah, dum-dum. You're tumbling around on a big goddamn meteor, and you just created younger versions of yourselves and your guardians, probably by mucking around with that thing like a doofus.
Wait. These are baby versions of us?
Ha 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 ha. So clueless. What did you think you were doing there anyway?
Well, I saw footage of my Nana and some other people who I'm pretty sure were like Jade's grandpa and Rose's mom and stuff from a long time ago. And then there were all these little guys scurrying around. So they're like cloned copies of us?
No. They are literally you and your guardians. Paradox clones.
Huh? What do you mean they are literally us? Do they go back in time?
Yeah, obviously. Great guess, brain hero. But technically, they aren't even sent back in time because with respect to the medium, your universe's timeline is meaningless. Seriously, why would it give a crap about Earth's past or future or whatever? From its perspective, it's just a bunch of points to choose from. Just like from your chronology is from our perspective. But I guess that's just a bunch of semantics. With respect to your personal chronology, yeah, they go back in time. A paradox clone is by definition a correctly cloned duplicate that will inevitably go back in time and become the original target that was cloned. If it's a malformed clone, it's just a meaningless mutant that has no bearing on the stable loop continuum. I don't see any tentacles or extra eyeballs or warped bone bulges, so those gross little things there are all you guys, waiting to go to Earth and grow up and become the insipid bunch of grub-fisted douchebags you all are now. And this was the point I was trying to make about the ultimate riddle. What is the riddle, anyways? Maybe I can guess. I'm good at riddles. Ha ha ha. Think again, ignoramus. It's not even that great, or even much of a riddle at all. In the course of your adventure, you would have encountered all these fragments of like weird poems and shit. You find them all along your quests, with clues and stuff buried in them, to help you solve puzzles and move huge stone columns and make staircases appear and lots of nonsense like that. And it's all masked in this flowery sort of frothy poetic jackassery that nobody really cares about. And I sure as hell don't care about spoiling it for you. But what all these lofty symbolic allusions boil down to is some grander statement about what you see happening here. That you were always the key to seeding your own existence through this game. And any hope that it could have played out differently, or that you could have avoided this whole mess, was always just a ruse. A distraction, perhaps? What? Never mind. Because if it didn't go down this way, then how were you even born? Get it? Which is especially pathetic since Paradox Space apparently went to all this trouble to make you just apparently since Paradox Space apparently went through all this trouble to make you just to have you fail and die. Yo, the fact that Carcat doesn't really... Oh, he should have used a comma. He does use commas. Really, there's nothing more tragic than these null sessions full of kids entering the game and fulfilling some cosmic destiny shit just to get wiped out and leave behind an empty, pointless insipisphere for all eternity. Actually, it's sort of hilarious. Or it would be if it didn't affect me personally. But anyway, there's a lot more to the riddle than just that, like what we were just talking about the last time we talked. But that's sort of the gist of the themes it deals with. Okay, well, if I run into some salamanders who tell me all about this riddle and get really excited about it, I will try to act surprised. So, this is the same kind of thing you went through? With, like, being your own paradox clones and creating your own parents and stuff? Yeah. How did that even work with 12 of you? It was really fucking complicated, and I'm not going to get into it. Our family structures are already way more complicated than yours without even getting spooky time slime involved. Basically, we have nothing in common whatsoever, except maybe this. I was the guy in your position to make all of these clones, and frankly, it kind of freaked me the hell out. Huh. Yeah, I guess now that you mention it, I am finding it all a little strange. Oh, only just now? Fuck, you are fast. I hope you got the mad boonbucks to pay off those speeding tickets. No. I mean, the ghost stuff and paradoxes are one thing, of course. It's just something else. It's just that this is really weird. What's so weird about it? Well, normally humans hatch from like these slimy pods. Then we wriggle out as little pink larvae. Oh, really? Huh. Maybe we have more in common than I thought. Maybe those really are mutant clones and they aren't going back to seed your planet? Question mark. Sure? Hell, I'm confused now. Not that I give a shit about you and your pointless awful lives. Hey, I have an idea. Why don't you get back to me in a few minutes? I mean, like a few minutes of my time, not yours. All of these little pink monkeys are getting way out of line, and I have to tend to them. If you message me in a couple minutes, we can continue conversing in a sane, linear fashion for a change. Okay? And then after that, you can keep going backwards, and then make fun of me riding my little red rocket. You can tell me I look like a silly little paradox clone, fresh out of my slime tube, and this is all just a big nursey time recess jamboree. That would burn me good. Okay, that is pretty good. But I can't use it because you said it. And then later, i.e., right now, you would get the satisfaction of knowing you were the one to come up with that burn. See, you were dealing with a pro. You can't out troll me, so just forget about it and stop trying. Because he already fucking got him. John, tend to little pink monkeys. They're scrambling all over the place. They appear to be preoccupied by some of the objects littered around the lab. At least it is keeping them busy. Oh man. John, get trolled by CG again. So all these different pieces. So Nana has the hat, John has the Sassacre book. Bro has the cow puppet, the dream cow puppet. Uh, Jade's grandpa has these two pairs of guns. Dave has Maple Hoof. John, get trolled by CG again. There's the CG symbol. Oh, look at Jade. Jade is like, John. Okay, it's a few minutes later. Look how sane and linear we are being. Yeah. Okay, awesome. Now fuck you and goodbye. Wait. What? I was just looking at all these rascals and I was wondering, how do they go back in time and become us and stuff? How does it have something to do with the reckoning? How do you know about that? You told me. We have had this great dare going to see who could be the least helpful and informative. And you totally lost, dude. You were hella helpful. I was obviously just spiting your stupid I was obviously just spiting your stupid pointless human dare. What is a dare anyway? It's nothing. Someone says do something and then, oh, laugh, laugh. You lose if you don't do it. That isn't anything that deserves a word. We don't even have a word for dare in our language. The closest approximation would be worthless fucking bullshit waste of time for silly little children. Oh, wow. Is that the title of a movie too? Yes, it's the title of every dumb movie you ever liked. Haha, that isn't even true and doesn't make sense. John, this is 100% how it works when you're talking to somebody who's trying to bully you and like who has so much of a horse in the race and you just like don't give a shit either because you're too dumb or you're just unaffected. You just like don't know what's going on. You're like, yeah, whatever. That doesn't even make sense. I relate to this aspect of John. Anyway, how could we have made a dare if I'm moving backwards on your timeline? You would dare me to do something, then I would do it next time, but then you wouldn't even remember the dare because we didn't make it yet. That's what isn't true and doesn't make sense, you damp bag of puke. Yeah, the dare never happened. I was joking around and made that up to give you a hard time. You have sounding stupid down to such a science. Where is your lab coat and test tubes, Dr. Brain Professor? I am wearing a lab coat, sort of. You look like an elf. That's bullshit. You look like you should be blowing into a funny little shell and limbering up for a silly cookie dance. Do you even have elves? Yes, let's compare which fantasy creatures that don't exist we both do or do not have. What a great fucking idea, John. What? You asked about the reckoning, so why don't we talk about that instead of all these pretty much terrible things? Okay. Yeah, so when the reckoning starts happening, all these paradox clones get shipped off to meteors, flung through sky and defense portals, and sent back to Earth. End of story, I guess. Bye. Wait! So that means we're all sort of like Superman? John. Yeah, I guess. Cool! You all trace the mythological footsteps of your beloved human Superman, who's really just a muscular Caucasian alien. It's hilarious how humans worship him as a pinnacle of human heroism and virtue, but he isn't even human. Actually, it's incredibly pathetic, but also, in a way, kind of admirable, because it means deep down, you all must realize who your daddy is. We are, bitches. Yeah, Superman is pretty cool, I guess. Did you know Nicolas Cage was almost going to play Superman one time? Oh, my throbbing phlegm lobe. Who gives a barfing fuck about that? John Egbert, you have assassinated my patience. Adios, loser. Wait! Get back to me in a couple minutes, okay? Fine. John.
he's just John's just being himself. Facepalm times 2 combo. And he cannot handle it. He can't handle it. Oh man, there's a bunch of stuff going on. I feel like maybe that's a good note to end on. I think I'm gonna call it here. Those were some really good conversations. So we're cooking along. We're cooking along. We're all the way back to we're only in May of 2010. But we're learning more. We just learned that the way that all the children were made, all the kids were made, is they were cloned. None of them were born. And we kind of already knew that because we already had seen that Nana had died on the same day that John was born. But I don't think that we knew that they came down like a meteor. So this is new information. And we also know that the way that they're like they are genetically related to their guardians, but they weren't born. So there is also, it's worth noting that John is genetically related to John's grandma, but not genetically related to his dad. But his dad is still his guardian. So that's interesting. John's dad is a little bit of an anomaly because the other three, they were taken care of. Their guardians were their ancestors. And John's dad is kind of separate from that. So that's something kind of noteworthy and interesting. And yeah, got our first dead body from Dave. Dave saw his own dead body and threw it out of his house into a lava pit. And shit is just generally crazy all around. So, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.